And now we get to the big one. What the Future, the single most popular episode in the entire series. The one that almost everyone, including Ed himself, considers to be the absolute best one ever. And honestly, I think it's kind of overrated. But that doesn't mean I think it's bad, because I don't. It's just good. But that's it. So how could I possibly think this way? I'll tell you after the story. A future version of Ed travels back in time to kill his present-day counterpart. Why? Because cola is illegal in the future, and he'd rather die than have to go through that. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty funny. But the rest of the episode is just them running away from future Ed with some jokes here and there. So for the so-called greatest Eddsworld episode ever, the plot is incredibly simple. I should point out that this was the first and probably only big Eddsworld episode that Ed wrote entirely on his own, and that's really cool. He keeps the story going, never losing focus of the main plot, and even though, again, it's really simple, he manages to keep it entertaining by throwing in some good jokes. They're not comedic gold or anything, but every single joke at least made me chuckle. The story as a whole, however, is the weakest part of the episode in my opinion. It's not terrible or anything, it has a good setup with good jokes to back it up, but considering this is an Eddsworld episode involving time travel, it probably could have done more with the idea. Like maybe during a chase, future Ed accidentally brings the guys into the future with him. The closest we get to something like that is having future Tom and future Matt come to the present, but they don't really do anything. In all fairness, the ending more than takes advantage of the time travel aspect. I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen it, but it involves a character changing history using future Ed's time travel device. It's a great moment, one that you would immediately think of when you put Eddsworld and time travel together, but I just wish there were more moments like it. At least the animation is great. What the Future is probably the point where Ed's animation style started looking the best it's ever been. Maybe that's one reason why people think this is the best episode, and I guess I can understand that. I mean, it does look really good. The colors, the shading, the backgrounds, it's some of Ed's greatest. Although, I couldn't help but notice the tiny little white lines that keep appearing at certain times. Like he could have filled in those backgrounds completely, but didn't. So, why is What the Future considered to be the best episode ever? Honestly, I don't have a clue. It feels like it could have been a bigger episode given the time travel aspect, but seems slightly confined to the present, and I guess it feels like a missed opportunity in that sense. However, the area where it more than succeeds is in the humor. This episode has some really good jokes, and personally, that's the only reason why I come back to this episode. They're not good enough to make it the best episode ever because I don't think the story is good enough to match. But stuff like Super Guy and the Laser and Matt's talking selfies are more than enough to bring me back. What the Future is a fun episode. Not great, but fun. This is one time warp I wouldn't mind doing again.